Hey everybody, got a video here for you today, and I thought I would talk about this, but had a lot of requests to talk about the pyramid of Zawyet El Aryan and what that is all about, and that remains a huge mystery. But they say it is an unfinished pyramid, and in initial reports they say it was a huge pyramid originally, but there was never a pyramid here in my opinion. And we are zooming in to the military zone that all we have left is where we can detect where the shaft was, perfectly aligned to the north, all covered up. But there just is a big mystery. What would this look like if we could get in here today? Well, I'm going to show you today, because we can. Because there is a pyramid or a structure identical to this, and you know it as the pyramid of Djedefre. Let's go over to Abu Ruwash. And before we go over to Abu Ruwash, I was looking into this necropolis that surrounds what they call as the unfinished pyramid of Zawyet El Aryan. And there are pre-dynastic tombs. The term Dynasty 0 is used, and rulers and important people who were buried around what was obviously a very, very ancient structure. And to me, that can only be what we call the pyramid of Zawyet El Aryan, the northern one. Just wanted to say that. Now here is what they call the pyramid of Djedefre. I have a little bit of problem with the way they say his name, but here is all that is left. And all that was here originally, to me, it very much appears, was about a 12-course high original structure around a descending shaft open to the sky. And there could have been something made out of materials that would have totally disintegrated by today, or thousands of years ago even, covering this at one time. But as far as the stonework, seems to be a 12-course high structure around the descending shaft. And these two structures are identical. Now let's go look around. Now here, on top of the hill, at what they say was the pyramid of Djedefre, all we have left is about 12 courses of original stonework that surrounded the shaft. There was stuff here built by the dynastic Egyptians, but let me be clear, a member of Djedefre's family. Or let me get this straight here. This is the cartouche of Djedefre, and it says Ra Djedef. Ra Djedef. So where they get Djedefre, I see it, but I just guess I don't know how to read hieroglyphs. Ra Djedef. There was a few items with Djedefre's name carved on it here. There was a lot of names of Egyptian rulers, but I can see where they would attribute this place to Djedefre. The easiest answer, no matter how flimsy the evidence, but I can see it. I think there was a bust of him found out here also, but where also was his name carved on some things found? Down at Zawyet El Aryan. But I'll leave the links to this website. And here's some more pics. The descending shaft. Look down below. But these two places, to me, very obviously carved at the same time. And once again, this is really all that was found at the pyramid of Djedefre as far as a structure. About 12 courses high. And from when the pyramid was still there, or whatever the structure was still there at Zawyet El Aryan, 12 courses high, same thing. So here we are at the pyramid of Djedefre, looking northward from the south edge of the shaft cut into the earth. And when we compare it to the pic of the Zawyet El Aryan shaft, it appears to be identical. Djedefre, Zawyet El Aryan, and here is a pic from the movie, and these blocks here, obviously artificial Hollywood creations, because we know what the pyramid was built on from pics when it was fairly unexcavated. And here you see the same view, at least looking north, but here you see some of the rubble from what was around the shaft cut in the earth. And if you go over to this pic from the movie, you can see the similar rubble under the sand here in this pic, and it's over here too. That's all that was here. There was never a pyramid over either one of these pyramids. Now, when I really looked into who they attributed this structure at Zawyet El Aryan to, it was just a total circus, arguments, conflicting stuff. And here they talk about Seba, Ka, the great star of Ka, and a whole bunch of Nebka, Baka, and what was actually found and what wasn't found. But it says here, but the main problem is the correct reading of a cartouche name found within 6 ink inscriptions. Whilst the lower hieroglyphic sign is for sure Ka, the earlier sign is unreadable. Unfortunately, the excavator, Alessandro Bersanti, made no facsimiles, but slipshod hand drawings, so the last sign remains indefinable. As a consequence, there are several alternative readings of the cartouche name. And then it gives the name, maybe his name is Ka is the Lord, John Philip Lawler. His Ka is divine, Big Ka, Seka, Setka, Neferka, arguments, conflictions. It is absolutely unbelievable. All the different theories for what the name possibly means at cartouche. It says Reisner instead thinks that the pyramid was planned as a tomb of an archaeological detected prince named Baka, who was definitely the son of King Djedefre. His name was written with the symbols of a ram and the Ka symbol. Beckerath assumes that Baka changed his name into Bakara, soul and Ka of Ra, when he ascended the throne. Then he died surprisingly, leaving an unfinished tomb shaft. Aidan Dodson instead sees a setting Seth animal and therefore reads Seth Ka. Seth is mine Ka. He believes that the pyramid was planned as a tomb of a prince Setka, a further son of a king Djedefre. So a prince would have a cartouche. That makes no sense. Setka, and then that is, undermined by somebody else's theory, and it goes on here, and I could continue reading. But no, I think you get the idea. But Bitka, Baka, Neferka, Setka, it's all just a big mishmash of arguments, and there is nothing set in stone, pardon the pun. But maybe they should look back and they say there is no Ra symbol on the cartouche. Well, maybe they should look back to a different name. These are the pre-dynastic rulers of Egypt, and there is a Seka, S-E-K-A, and I just think if they're mentioning all these other lame attributions possibly to this cartouche, well, if there's no Ra symbol, maybe they should look at a ruler who didn't have a Ra symbol in his name, Seka, pre-dynastic ruler, not recognized by Egyptologists. Now here you have a pic, and I know this isn't very clear, but this is a pic looking down in the shaft at the pyramid of Djedefre. And Antoine Giegel on her website clearly states that not too long ago, this place was buried in sand and refuse and trash. This place had totally gone to waste, and seems the Egyptologists would have just assumed that this place kind of went away. But too many people had been here in the 1900s and the early 1900s and the 1800s. So archaeologists in the present day knew about this site, so they had really no choice but to clear out all the refuge and try to make this explorable, because too many people knew about it. But I think if it wasn't for that, we would not know about it today, probably. But this is looking down the descending shaft. And here is another pic looking down the shaft, but this pic here, when you look at it and then you compare it to the pyramid, or what they call as a pyramid at Zawyet El Aryan, the descending shaft, it's very clear these two places are identical. And here you see some masonry in the descending ramp. And then over here at Zawyet El Aryan, you can tell there are blocks in the descending shaft, and it just appears the pyramid at Djedefre has been open to the elements. It's a lot more eroded. And the sand really, I think, has covered this place for most of its history, since whatever initial function it held. And once again, I have no clue. So let's take a little comparative view down in the chamber where the descending shaft comes down to. And what we are looking at here is we are looking directly west. And this guy standing here on top of... Now you notice here the perfect granite blocks that the oval tub is made out of here. Doesn't seem that they go back into the corner and on the sides. You can see here it appears to be just the natural limestone, and then we have the perfectly shaped granite blocks in kind of the center of this area. And you can see here it doesn't appear to be those granite blocks on the very sides, but more in the middle. And you notice there seems to be a ledge, maybe about at the 6-foot level from where he is standing. That goes all the way around here. I find it very interesting in this look from the same view of Djedefre's pyramid. We have an area here that it seems to be, there was something here originally, and if a guy was standing up on top of this level here, this ridge that's going around would be about at the 6-foot level from where, if a guy was standing up here, that's the way it appears to me. And these blocks, I think these blocks have been moved in here. I've seen an aerial picture where it looks nothing like this in here. What is this? This is pink granite, and there is broken up fragments of pink granite all over down here. There was huge pink granite blocks, just like in this pyramid. And what did Barsanti and Flinders Petrie from 100 and 200 years ago, what did they find when they were down here? They found a broken up oval tub pink sarcophagus, exactly like what was in here. These pyramids were built by the same builders for the same purpose, whatever that was. And to me, this almost appears industrial. That's just, I can't get that out of my mind, but people say this is a sarcophagus. Was it? Well, apparently there was like a 10-centimeter black residue found in here. What that was, God only knows. I have no clue. So, people wondering about what the Zawyet El Aryan pyramid would look like if we could take the trash out of it and look at it today. Well, I think it would look a lot like this, but maybe those pink granite blocks are still down there. I don't think they were ever taken out. And these weren't unfinished, because these had to have been taken down here, I think, when the place was built, because the one at Zawyet El Aryan was built into the foundation. So, I think if we want to know what this looked like originally, the Djedefre pyramid, as it is called, this is what it would look like, because we have remnants of the same sarcophagus, we have fragments of pink granite, and we have pretty much the exact same looking place at both places. Now, when looking into the pyramid of Zawyet El Aryan and what different people had to say about it, there was a common theme. That it was similar, or an awful lot like the pyramid of Djedefre. And on this website, I will leave links below, it says, unlike the pyramids of Khafre and Cheops, the burial chamber of this pyramid was constructed in a pit that was dug some 21 meters deep in the ground. This building technique is strongly reminiscent of the pyramid of Djedefre at Abu Ruwash. And let me be clear, there is no evidence of a large pyramid ever being constructed at Zawyet El Aryan. Zero evidence of that. There is no causeway. There is no valley temple. I couldn't find any evidence of a massive structure like they said was there. All I found was an original 12-course structure with a shaft cut in the ground between it. Now, there seem to be about a half a dozen, at least, of these structures that they call unfinished pyramids. There was never a pyramid here just because, for one, it's up on top of a hill, and what they say was the shape of this doesn't fit. Some people say it's unfinished, but there is an enclosure wall around it, so they went to put an enclosure wall around something unfinished. This is all it was intended to be, the purpose. Who knows? But these structures were not they're all called unfinished pyramids because all these pharaohs supposedly died at the exact same construction phase of their pyramids, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's a huge mystery. The pyramid of Zawyet El Aryan is the same as the pyramid of Djedefre, and probably a few others, but that's a good look at both of those. Hope you thought that was interesting, and you all have a very nice day.